Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hope you're all having a great day today. Today I'm going to be working with again some beautiful digital designs from Mr. Matt Mixed Media. I'll show you. But what I'm actually doing is I'm creating a gift. So in here, I'm not going to open this one because I've already wrapped it, but I'll show you as we're going along. This is actually, I didn't create this box, but it's a stationery set. Sorry, I didn't create the idea for this box. I did create the box, and we're going to do that today. But it's a stationery set, and the original video that I watched was by May Made It. If I remember, I'll try and link it down below. Um, so you can go and watch the original one if you want, or you can just follow along here and we'll go with that. But essentially in here, there's 6 gift cards with envelopes. There's a place for some gift tags and even a spot to do like a little envelope of stamps, things like that. So I'm gonna show you the paper that this is essentially what I'm going to be working with. It's called alcohol inks and wood flooring. So you can see the beautiful planks and things like that. So I'm just I don't know why I do that all the time. So basically what I had done is I had gone in. So these are the pieces that I have printed off on just using my printer and photo paper. And they came out really great. These are going to be my card fronts, but I wanted something because I needed a bigger piece of paper. So I needed to print off my print. And this, I was able to get this done at my local printers. They did it on a 13 by 17 size, and then I just trimmed it down. It cost me about $1, which is not bad. But this is for a sneak preview of one of the upcoming episodes, probably in January. Look at this. This is how the quality of what it came out at. Just put it onto a USB stick and printed it out. Had them printed out for me, and it came out beautiful. It's got a little shine to it. It's a very thin paper, but that's okay because I'm putting it on cardstock or in a folio or something like that. That's what I'm going to be using this one for, is I'm going to make a folio picture album. But I didn't want something heavy so that I could actually add photos in. For this one, it's going on some other cardstock, so I don't need it to be heavy. Now, for the box that we're going to be making, so stay tuned for the sunflower episode, probably January or February. I'm not sure exactly when that one's going to come out, but look forward to it because it's gorgeous, gorgeous images on that one. Um, but again, this one is called Alcohol Inks with Woodwork. So you can see the wood flooring, and it's really beautiful, beautiful colors, really nice saturation, some beautiful um, uh, gold tones to it and everything like that. I was happily moving along, merrily making my boxes and things because I made these as gifts for some friends for Christmas. And then I was like, oh, geez, I have to film one of these, so I better stop. So the reason why I showed you the sunflowers is that's the size of what it was. This is now a half sheet that I had cut down and used for one of the other ones here. Okay, so I am going to start with making the box. So we're going to start with a 12 by 12 sheet of cardstock. You can use black, you can use white, you can use double-sided. And in fact, this is actually going to be your box. If you have some really nice designer paper with really great images on it that you want to have as the base, you can do that. But because I have these stunning images, I'm going to glue them onto the cardstock that I'm using and have that be the focal point on the stationery set. But if, like I said, if you have some really nice 12 by 12 cardstock or cardstock that's a good quality, good decent weight that you would like to use, go ahead and use that. It doesn't have to be plain, can do it with that. So I'm going to put this here. I'm going to bring that up a little bit just so that you can kind of do a screenshot and see the measurements. So the base of the box is going to be 11 3/4 by 12 inches. So we're just taking off a slim quarter of an inch piece here. And I'm just using a basil cardstock. This is probably 80 pound. These are the scoring measurements for the base. So we're going to score on the 11 3/4 side at all of these. Then we're going to turn it and score on the 12-inch side at these. I'll repeat them out as I'm doing it. The inside separator divider. Okay, you'll understand what that means when I show it to you there. But that size will need to be 6 by 8 1/4. And then we're going to score on the 8 1/4 side, and then we're going to fold it into a mountain valley. Okay. Then the lid, which fits on top, is an 8 by 8 1/2 inch piece of paper or cardstock, and we're going to score it at 1 inch all the way around. So I'm going to start actually with the scoring, and I'm going to put my little cheat sheet over there to the side, grab my scoreboard, and we are going to start with the 11 3/4 inch. So it's just, so there's my 12-inch mark right there. It's just shy of that. So I'm just going to turn this so that I can get a good bead on it. So on the 11 3/4 inch side, so that's 11 3/4 going this way, we're going to start and we're going to score it at 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to go to 1 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to go to 2 3/4 inch. And then we're going to go out to the 9 inch. What I jumped the thing here, so 9. Should we get that into that there? There we go. 9 inch. Yeah, 9 inch. 10 inch. Let's see here. I think I jumped it. Nope, I did not. 9 inch, 10 inch, and can't see here. Getting into the dark, into the shadow area there. Sorry, guys. 10 inch, and then the 11 inch. Okay, so again, that's 3/4 inch, 1 3/4 inch, 2 3/4 inch. Then we're going to go to 9 inch, 10 inch, and 11 inch. Then we're going to take our paper and we're going to turn it clockwise, counterclockwise, doesn't matter, but we're going to put it in. So the 12-inch side is at the top here. And on the 12-inch side, we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch. I believe the next one should be 1 3/4. And then we're probably going to do 2, yeah, 2 3/4. And then we're going to go to 9 1/4. 9 1/4, 10 1/4, and 10 1/4, and then 11 1/4. Moving down. Okay, so this is going to be the base. I'm just going to put that to the side because I want to do all of the scoring and then I can put my scoreboard away. Okay, so I'm going to take, the next part is going to be the inside separator. And again, this is going to be 6 inches by 8 1/4. So on the 8 1/4 inch side, so the 8 1/4 inch is at the top of our scoreboard here, we are going to score at 4 5/8. So we're going to count all of these little marks here are the 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the little notch that is just past the 4 1/2 inch mark. Okay. And then we're going to go to 5 5/8. So we're going to go 5 1/2 inches, and then one more notch, that will be 5/8. And then again, 6 5/8. So we're going to go 6 1/2, and we're going to add one more notch. That's 6 5/8. Okay, that's going to be the divider for our cards and inside. Now I'm going to take the lid, and it doesn't matter which side you have up. We're just going to go around and we are going to score at the 1 inch side. Score at 1 inch all the way around. Scoring at 1. Turn it. Score at 1 inch. And bump that back in. We're going to score at 1 inch. And then we're going to bump that back in. All right. 1 inch. Okay, so that is all of our scoring. I'm going to put this on my little scoring tool back. All right. Now, before we go and start doing our folding, you're going to need a set of scissors. So I'm going to pull out my little fussy cut scissors here. And we are going to cut away on our card base here. We are going to cut away. So it kind of looks a bit like a ladder on each side here. And we are going to cut away this square, this square, this square, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. The only one that we're going to be keeping is this first tab. And we're going to do that all the way around. Okay. And so I'm just going to mark them off. It's easy to see. I'm not going to put X's in them, but just so that it's easier for you guys to see. And then I'll go around and do the trimming. So while I'm making my trimming, you guys can do this as well, but I am going to come and trim just slightly inside my score line. I want to have a bit of a V because what that allows for is as my paper, when I'm folding it, sometimes you don't always get a super clean cut on your, when you've done your word screen when you're doing your folding, like you're scoring, you're folding, all of those kind of things. So I am just cutting away and leaving a slight um angle. That's the word that I'm looking for. I'm cutting just inside my scoring lines as I'm doing this for the box base, basically. Yeah. Right here. And then we're gonna go up. Because sometimes when we're doing our scoring, like often if you're doing a folio or something like making your own album from scratch where you have to do the oops, fudge. That's okay, we'll hide that. Where you have to do your own score lines, etc. Okay, so that's obviously gonna have to be cut just a weensy bit more because I ripped it. But then it's just paper. There we go. Oftentimes what happens is when we do our fold lines, um, there's depth or there's bulk in our like when you go to do your fold, there'll be some bulk in there, and so that can be a bit of a challenge, right? Trying to fold paper over paper, you're just going to end up basically creating some bulk, and that comes in at your score line, which is oftentimes when you go to you've got a perfect 12 by 12, you put in your cut lines and things like that. And then you go to trim it down and you go to fold it, and all of a sudden it's not square anymore. It's because when we fold over these pieces of paper, it adds that little bit of bulk. And so it will shift it just a little bit. So these cutting away this little bit does help trim away some of that bulk and helps you to adhere things, etc., etc. All. Mm. Oh, how is everybody coming along with any Christmas card? Have you managed to finish all of your like do you make Christmas cards? Any holiday items that you like to make for gift giving? I'm still, as you can see, still working on some of them. And I don't know about you guys, but I end up getting quite a bit. So here's, you can now see. So it kind of looks like steps at every single corner of our base, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I want to cut along I want to separate this little tab. This little tab is what is going to fold in um, to hold our box together. Okay. So I'm just going to go and give it a bit of a trim on each one. And I'm cutting up to the score line. This one can be a bit. Scissors in there. So you can see here, it's not perfectly straight here. I've cut out just a little bit. That will allow for my paper to fold over this my score line there and kind of hold together well without having a lot of extra bulk or something that's going to get in the way. Because what we're going to be doing is this kind of gets folded over each layer, which helps to add some dimension into, sorry, not dimension, adds strength and stability to what is essentially going to be a paper box. There we go. Okay, and let's just trim them in here too. All right. Okay, so I have now trimmed. I don't manage to get that there. Let's just trim that off there. All right. Yeah. Okay, now we can start doing some folding. And actually, I just realized I didn't actually show you guys what the inside of this looks like. So this is a piece so that you guys don't have to watch me do all of the cutting and everything. This is what I want to show you for the inside. This is what it's going to look like, is we're going to have a base. Whoops. So these are all my pieces from what I had been cutting. So it has a separation. So you have a place to put your A2 cards, some gift tags, and I made a little envelope for some stamps. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I will pull all of this out to complete, but I'm going to put together the box first. Sorry. Should have shown you that. And here's the little lid. So the lid just sits inside. Now, on the video that May did, she actually does this lid out of acetate, and it's beautiful. Acetate's pretty difficult to work with, and I find acetate's very difficult to work with. And I had cardstock on hand. It's less, so that's what I'm looking to do. However, so what I am saying though is that the acetate is a beautiful gift. You can do like a nice little oh, see, is that gonna fold? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to remember how to do this. Yes, so this one, okay. So each one of these, so this is going to be a multi-step fold. So the first one I'm folding in, and then the next step I am folding in. But this small 3/4 inch one, I want to fold that back. And then I'm going to crease it down, because essentially what's going to happen is this little folded part, this little 3/4 inch part, is actually going to get adhered to the base. So again, it's going to add stability. This little tab is going to pop up, and it's going to be glued in between these two pieces to again add that stability. So it's going to go and do that, and then the next one gets done. This is part of the tricky part, is remembering. So which one am I gluing? Am I doing backwards? So it looks a bit like an accordion. Okay, that's what we're doing. So the first one, I found it the easiest was to remember, and easiest to manipulate my paper, was to do the first fold all the way in. And then I'm going to fold the second one on top of the first fold. So I kind of pull it back, do the first fold, or the second fold on top of the first one. And then the top one, I will angle it towards myself. Okay. Hopefully that made sense. Okay. So I'm pushing the first one all the way down, folding it all the way in. I'm going to open it up, and then I'm going to take the second fold, and I'm going to fold that on top of the original one. And then before I unfold it, I'm going to take the top one and I'm going to pull that back just like this. And then I'm going to score that. So now my top one is facing me all the way around. Okay. Now I'm going to pull out my liquid adhesive, and I'm going to start adhering this box together. Okay. So first one is I want to put a little bit of liquid adhesive on this little tab here. Okay. And I am going to add some adhesive here. And then I'm going to add some adhesive on here. Just like that. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. I need to bring this up, and this is going to come up as well. And then I'm going to fold that over, and I'm going to hold it in place like that. And I can take my bone folder or my finger. So, and it doesn't matter if I get a little bit of adhesive down here, because we're going to be covering that. But in the meantime, I can also take I can pull the box up, and I can squish it down just like that. I'm going to pull it up, use my finger on a flat surface so that I can push it down. And I'm going to move to the next one. So I'm going to do the same process. So I'm going to take a little bit of adhesive onto the tab, a little bit onto the bottom flap, that, or the bottom part, and then onto the bottom of the uh, tab that is facing me, so that I can fold this in together like so. Oh, getting a little bit on my fingers. Okay, fold this in, and then burnish it down so that the liquid adhesive can grab. And I can pull that up, kind of square it up if I feel I need to. And I'm looking here to make sure that none of my edges are going over anything. They are all matching. Um, nothing is getting in the way of the folds or anything like that. Okay. So third step is same as the first, putting a little bit of adhesive on the folded tab, going to the bottom. Now, if you'd prefer, you can do the adhesive on this piece here as well, up to you, or instead of the bottom one. You just need to make sure that you are getting it on one of those two. Folding that in and over. Over. Got a little bit of glue adhesive squidging out. Putting that down all along the bottom. Down. And making sure that it's coming in square. Okay, so the last one, okay, apparently I didn't put down enough adhesive in there. Okay, so not the end of the world. We just go back in with a little bit of adhesive and hold it down so that it can grab. Okay, now the last one is always just super, well, not, I was going to say super tricky. It's not tricky. It's just awkward, right? Because you've now got it sort of semi-folded. And so now you got to try and get your adhesive in here somehow. Ideally, I'd like to do it without getting adhesive all over myself, but that's not always my reality. So what are you going to do? Okay. And this step is exactly the same. The only thing that's different is that most of your sides of your box are already standing and just kind of waiting to go together. So I'm going to adhere down the base like so. I'm got a bit of squidgy of glue there, and that's fine. And then I'm going to stand it up and again, make sure that it is adhering along the bottom. So I don't think you guys can see it. So I'm just pushing my fingers and making sure that that glue is adhering to both pieces, both sides of the piece of paper. Okay. There we go. One part of the box. Ta-da! So there's the base. Very simple, very simple. Okay. I put that to the side. And now we are going to do the what is this called? This is called the divider. That's the word. Okay. Now this is important because we want it to have a peak or like a we want valleys and then a mountain peak and then a valley so that our tags can sit here and our cards can sit here. So you can let's see if you can see that. So we've got long flat part, we've got score line, another score line, and then a flat part. And this is the part that I need to come up. Okay. So I'm going to fold it this way first. And I want to make sure that my edge, as I go to stick it down here, that my edge is straight on that side. And then I'm going to fold this back towards me, again, making sure that my edge is straight, like so. And then I want to take this top one and I'm going to fold it over. And I'm really hoping I'm going to have to see if this is correct when I pull it up. And I think it is. Ah, yes, that is exactly what I want. So you see how we folded. So we have the straight, then we went up, and then we went down, and now we're going to have a straight piece so that this will allow cards to sit here and a nice divider that will hold our gift tags. And we can go ahead and adhere this together. Okay. Now, for this, you can use score tape or tape runner, whatever you prefer to use. I just typically use liquid adhesive. I find it holds well and it's less expensive. So that's what I use. I'm using Verily Art glue. Any kind of good quality craft adhesive will work for this. Whatever you're using, score tape, whatever. Okay, so here's our base. So you can see how that works out really well, right? Like it's going to sit in there just right. Okay, so now because I can, I'm going to take my, yep, I'm going to add some adhesive to my divider. I was like, whoops, a little carried away there. wipe that squidgy off. Okay. And it doesn't matter if you're going this way or if you go this way. It doesn't matter because you can still move it around. Uh, or you can have your gift tags and whatnot on the left side, and you can do your cards on the right side. It doesn't really matter at this point. You just want to make sure that you are getting it in there on the correct um, orientation. Okay? Because it won't fit that quarter inch that we took off when we were first starting, right? Because it wasn't a 12 by 12, it was 12 by 11 and 3/4. Will make a difference in terms of how this sits in there and how our box will sit in there. The lid will sit in there, right? Okay, so there's the base. Let's do that. Now, we are going to go through. So before we go and score, sorry, we already scored, but before we go and fold our lid, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to trim just this edge here. And I'm doing essentially the same thing. I am creating a bit of a valley so that because this is going to make the flaps that are going to hold together. And I don't want it to be too again too bulky or have something that is getting in the way of it adhering or closing, right? And I'm going to do the same on this side. And you can cut it it doesn't matter which side you cut it on, as long as you've still got the four flaps and they're like they've been opened or whatever so that you can adhere them. I tend to do opposite and then I'll fold them under, but it doesn't matter. I could have done this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner. Wouldn't have mattered. That's not the corner that I wanted to do. So we're going to add a little bit of, it should be interesting there. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and fold my uh my lid together. Okay, so this one I'm going to have to be a little delicate with just because I was cutting. I got carried away with telling you it doesn't matter. It does matter. You only want one cut. I could have done it either direction, but I still only want the one cut. I want my tab to be quite well adhered to the lid. Okay. All right. Okay. So now, which is this one? This is the one that is feeling quite weak. So I think what I want to do here is there a way to do that on the inside? Might have to do a bit of, if I've got some things in there. I'm sure I do. Sure I do. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do. Or maybe I don't. Why can't I find any tape? There's some score tape right there. Okay, so all I'm going to do is take a little bit of score tape here and just hold that edge together. And I've still got the, this would be, nope, that's not what I want. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, I'm just actually going to put a little piece of, um, I'm just going to doctor this and just put a little piece of paper over the top of this just to keep holding it in place because I don't want it to be weakened or anything like that. Plus, I also don't want the score tape to be, I don't want it to be seen, but I also don't want it to impact how, like it holding on to some cards or something like that. So we'll just cover that. So a little bit there. That's good there. Actually, nah, I like the cleaner edge. So we'll do it on the inside. Okay. So now that I have dithered on that and had to fix my boo-boo, what I'm going to do is basically the same sort of procedure that we did with the box base, right? I'm just going to go around and I'm going to adhere my corners. You don't have to do a hard scoring on these edges either because they're only going to 90 degrees. It's not something that's going to have to lay flat or like open to that extent. So it's not yeah, you don't have to do a hard scored line. You can just bring it up to the 90 degrees and just kind of fold it over and it should be just fine. Mm, and okay. A little bit more adhesive so that that sticks on there. Like so. Okay, moment of truth to make sure that I did that correctly. Let's see if it fits inside the box. Okay, so our lid, so you want to watch again, you'll notice the lid will only fit one way because the this is not perfectly square, right? Because we cut that little bit off. So there is only one way for the lid to fit on. And there we go. And it fits very well. I'm very happy with that. Okay, I'm going to put that one aside, and then I'm just going to show you what we did what I did to do the decorating. I'm going to put this here and you can kind of so I did do some basic measurements. So this is the box lid top mat, the side, card base, card spot base matting. So 5 3/4 by 6 1/4 inch for the box lid top matting for the card on the inside for the spot where your cards will sit. You want it to be 4 1/4 inches by 5 3/4. The tag spot, so the more narrow spot on the inside, is 1 1/4 inch by 5 3/4. And then the box bottom mat, if you are matting this, if you've done this in decorator cardstock, you're done. Like you don't need to do this part, but because I wanted to showcase this beautiful paper, I need to do this part. So the matting for the box bottom is going to be 6 1/4 by 6 inches. So let's start with that. So I'm going to pull out my fun stuff that's still in here. Okay, so I've got some tags. We'll do those in a minute. I've got this. Apparently I didn't bother to adhere down my tag base or my base there. So we'll fix that as well. Let's just do just like that. Oh, and I was smart and I actually labeled them from when I was cutting them. Yay, me. That's not something that always happens. Okay, so I'm going to stick down the divider part. And it's kind of nice because it has this little, well, I'm just going to call it a lip. It's not a lip. This little divider, though, is very handy to hang on to while you're putting in your base. You can hold on to it, right? So this is my card spot mat, okay? And I have cut it from a larger piece of paper that goes straight across, but I just sliced it down this way. So I want to make sure that I'm putting my matting in here so that the paper sort of has a continual look to it. Whoop, I can't. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to stick this down. Whoop-dee. And we're going to stick this in here. So essentially I measured this so that it would have about 1/4 inch all the way around. I still want it to have the decor and to have it look nice, but I did want it to have basically 1/4 to 1/2 inch all the way around. Okay, and then I'm gonna put this in here, kind of move it an eyeball, move it into place so that it's roughly lined up with the other coordinating cardstock. Okay, now we're going to do the base and box bottom. box bottom mat. So, and that's going to sit that way, but also do that way. Yep, I like it. I don't know what the difference is on the mat on the bottom, but I like it that way. So I'm going to do it that way. I am making an effort to make sure that I am getting adhesive fairly close to the edges, just so that it doesn't lift as this part gets used more, right? Because which is also the nice thing, especially because I've used white cardstock. It's nice to be putting some other paper on top of this because, white, it makes a mess. Or, well, I mean, if you've done anything on your craft table, you know it's going to end up on your project if you're using white, right? Don't know if you maybe make, you know what? That's a pretty big assumption. I'm sorry. Maybe it's only me that that happens to. Okay, look at how lovely. Isn't that gorgeous? Just got a nice little shine to it. So it's gonna hold on really nicely onto here. But it does give, again, now we're adding a little bit more stability to our cardstock, to our box, which is good. Okay, now the box lid. Let me see here. Do I like it this way or do I like it this way? I like it this way. Okay. Alrighty. Now, in the video, if you go and you watch the May May Made It video, in that one, she just does one card with a sentiment on it. She just provides cards with matching cardstock, like the cardstock that she used to make the box. She made, I think it was 8 cards, 6 cards, whatever, using the coordinating cardstock or card decorative paper, if you will. And uh yeah, and then did a set of sentiments on the side. And I was like, my friends, most of the guys that I know, they don't have like adhesive, things like that. So that's not really gonna work for my friends, that I'm giving this to. So I decided then to, and especially because I had this beautiful gold color in here. So here's our box. Look at that, right? How gorgeous is that? So then they open it, and once they've emptied this, I mean, you can make more cards for them using the paper because that's the nice thing about the digital mixed media is that once you've purchased the package, you have it. You can continue to use the paper as many times as you want. You never run out of it. You just print off more kind of thing, right? So you could always yearly refill this for them or for the birthdays or whatever, which is what makes it nice. But isn't that gorgeous? Anyway, what I decided to do is that I wanted to create some cards that had sentiments on them already. And I had these beautiful, so I did a mixture. So for example, so these, I'm going to finish those with you guys, but I've done a mixture of some standard sentiments. So I have a special day, a thank you, a hello, and a happy birthday. And then I'm going to do another happy birthday and a yay you, which I think makes a really nice gift set, right? For someone who doesn't make cards, kind of thing, right? So gonna need some card bases, which I didn't pull out, but I'm gonna need my card fronts. So the cards that I'm using now, this size that we did is perfect for a standard A2 size. I'm going to use this one and I'm going to use this one. Standard A2 size. Now, I bought cards from card bases. I often make my own, but when I'm doing Christmas things, I'll sometimes buy the bulk package from Michael's. And their A2 size cards are not A2 size anymore. They end up being like a 4 by 5.5. So I trimmed these down. So these are slightly smaller, but the box will fit a standard A2 size, which is 4.25 by 5.5 inch card. And I think you could actually do 8 cards in it. Um, and 8 cards and like 8 envelopes kind of thing. But I'm doing 6. 6 felt like a good amount and still left room, but I believe that the box would actually fit the 8. Okay, so let me just check to see here what the size ends up being. Yeah, 4 by 5.5, which is so weird. So weird. So I have cut down my panels. Hmm. Did I cut down my panels? I don't think I did cut down my panels. I only trimmed them. cut down the paper. All right, so let's do this. Just when I thought you guys weren't going to have to watch me cut. Aha. All right, so I'm going to want this to be 3 3/4 because my card front is it's 5, right? No, 5 1/2. So I want it to be 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. That will give me a nice border all the way around. Yeah, that's so I just need to trim off the edge. Keep the purple on that one. No purple. Then I'm going to use this on the inside of the card, actually. All right. And we'll adhere these down. And shift it just a bit. I didn't do the best of squaring jobs when I did that. Okay, 1 and 2. So as I was saying, typically I make my own card bases, but when I'm doing Christmas presents and I have a like, or I'm doing any gifting at all, like sometimes when I have a class as well, if I have to do a lot of them, I'll just, spend I'll do the 2 for 1 or whatever when Michael's has a sale or something like that. And I'll just buy the bulk pack because it's often easier and saves a lot of time because I did already 5 of these. So that's 30 card bases and I'll have 2 more to do. So that's 5, so 6, 7 by 6. So it's 42 card bases. So what I'm doing right now is I'm deciding on the orientation. So I have 2 that are portrait style, and then I have 2 that are landscape style. So ideally, what I would like to do is have the same sort of thing. So do one that is landscape and one that is portrait. And I like how the wood grain is down here. So I think this yay you is going to fit really nicely here. And then this happy birthday, I could actually do that kind of, let's see. It's just, this is the challenge, right? Is where do you like your sentiment? Oh, well, actually I'm switching. I quite like that yay you, I think up over the wood grain because then it keeps a lot of the color behind. So these are So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some tweezers so that I can hold this. So these are just sentiments that I cut out with the that had a shadow for with the vellum because I knew that I wanted the colors of my paper to show through a little bit, right? I still wanted a flavor of that, but I wanted to be able to have a little bit of separation too on some of them. Some of them I did not, as you can see on this happy birthday there. It's big and bold enough that it works well enough without having the shadow. So now all I'm doing is adding some liquid adhesive, kind of trying to keep it where the where my letters are so that it mostly because it'll show behind vellum, right? A little bit of adhesive, even if it dries clear, vellum will still show some adhesive, and I don't want it to be totally seen. So I'm trying to keep as much of it behind. It doesn't have to be perfect, but as much of it behind the lettering as possible. Okay, I'm gonna add that on. And, whoop. So when I'm doing something like this, I'll do it in like assembly line style. So I have a whole bunch of die cuts. So I knew that I was going to be using gold. So I did a variety of golds. I have some matte gold, I have holographic gold, and then I have shiny gold. So one or the other. It doesn't much matter that way. But I knew that I was going to want that. Now, this particular piece I cut out of, this is the piece that came off of here. So what I like doing, I don't know if I did it on these ones. I didn't, but on these ones, I am going to go in and just add this to the base. No, I'm not because it's too short. Boomer. Mhm. And is that one going to fit? It's not. Never mind. I'm not going to do that. So back the train up, back it up, back it up. Okay. So, yeah, as I was saying, I like to do this in like an assembly line style. So I'll prepare all the cards, I'll prepare my gift cards or the gift tags, I'll make the envelopes for the stamps, I'll do all of the boxes and then put them together. So I've got a yay you, I've got a happy birthday, a thank you, a on your special day. This happy birthday. This happy birthday sentiment is actually my favorite out of all of them. So I think I'm going to keep that one at the top. Okay. So now into our box, we're going to pull this over and we're going to put our envelopes. So I've got 6 envelopes. So I had to, when I was putting them together yesterday, I had to count them. If you want, you can put in a couple of extra envelopes in case they're, might have a problem with writing something in or something or make a mistake or something. So it's nice to have the extra envelope because people who are not crafters often don't have those kind of things, right? So 2, 4, 6, 7. So there's actually 7 envelopes here. So I'm going to put that there. And then I'm going to put my cards in onto the side here. Then I'm going to go over, I'm just going to move this to the side here. And I am going to show you what I did with the gift tags. So basically the gift tags are measuring at, just a minute here. So the gift tags were all printed out on my computer, just using regular cardstock, like a just slightly thicker than printer paper, but printed out and came out really beautiful. And the gift tags, so they are 1.75 inches by 3 inches, and then I have. Now you can, if you have a die that does this, you can do that. But what I have is I have the crocodile that has the angle or the photo paper cutter on it. So all I did was go through and snip the edge. And so it cuts, so you can open it up like this. And then you put it in here and it snips the edge so that you get this really nice looking gift tag edge. And I did the same with the mats. So I did the note card or the gift tag first, and then I cut out the mats, and the mats are let's do this one first because that's the measurement I gave you. So are 1.5 inches by 2 3/4. So it basically took off 1/8 of an inch. And then in my stash, I found a really nice, a cute little to and from sign, a stamp, and just went through, stamped them with, I put them in my stamp platform, inked it up, stamped it, put in the next one, inked it up, stamped it, put in the next one. So I did for all 7 of these. Same thing. I had all of the gift tags ready to go. Stamp, stamp, stamp. Put them to the side. Then I chomped them all and then added on the uh, card front, I guess, or whatever, the printed front. And then I went through and I did, I don't know if you can see that, but the little hole, punched a little hole in them because you need to be able to adhere a gift tag, right? So all I did was take some ribbon and had this nice thin ribbon, which is good because it's a very small hole here. Just took some ribbon that kind of coordinates with the set. I would have preferred gold, but I couldn't find a nice fine thin gold like this. But I like how the blue, there's a blue, a gray, and a white, and it's got a little bit of silver, so it adds a little bit of zhuzhing to the inside, right? And so that's all I did is went through and I'm just adding my ribbon to the edges, or sorry, not to the edges, so just tying it on. Whoopsie. Come on. There we go. And Bring it on. So all of these cards, the really nice thing about this is that as a gift that you're giving, or maybe you want to sell these at a craft sale or something like that, whatever, whatever you're doing there. The nice thing about this is it's all single layer too, right? It's not this person again, most people the first year I made my own Christmas cards, I had no idea that I really needed to be concerned with the weight of the cards or how much dimension they had. And let me tell you, I had wooden pieces on them. It was a lot, I would say. I don't actually know that everybody got their cards the first year, which I mean there was a lot of time and effort put into them. So it's kind of sad, but also really funny. And yeah, my brother likes to make fun of me for that because yeah, he's like, you'll spend $15 making the card green, but you won't spend the extra $2 to mail it. And yeah, I can't lie, he caught me there. Okay, so basically all I'm doing is going through and time them. So basically that whole story, sorry, it's getting a little distracted here. Basically that story was just, to remind you that these are going to be single layer cards, which is great. So, some of your friends, they might be just handing them out, but they might want to mail them as well. And they don't have to worry about extra postage or something like that. It would be very simple to do because the next step that I'm going to show you, so I'm just going to put these to the side, but put these into the bag or into the little gift box here. So I'm going to put these. So I kind of just, these kind of all hang a little bit. So I just like to kind of fold them over and these are going to fit right there, nice and snug. Okay. The next set will come in there. And of course I have some more, but I'm just putting those aside so that I can show you the next part. The next part is I made a little envelope for some stamps. So let me show you how I did that. And then I also put on a little Velcro because it kind of pops open here. And then I included 3 permanent stamps because it's unlikely that the person that you're gifting this to will want to mail all of them. They'll probably hand deliver most of them. So just doing 3 when you're doing 6 cards, I think was more than enough. But it's a nice little place where the stamps are. I've labeled it and I just hand wrote it. And then I took a piece of some of the slivers of what was left and adhered that to the front of the envelope to kind of tie it all together. So when you open it, it looks good, right? So in order to make this little stamp envelope, I pulled out my We Are Memory Keepers punch board well, that was why I needed that corner rounder. All right, this is the envelope making. It makes envelopes, bows, and a box. Just grab a crocodile here, the other one, because I need a corner rounder because I broke the one on my board here. Okay, so on this board. Now, do not lose. Inside the package comes like a measuring thing and stuff like that. That can be stuck on the inside, but make sure you don't lose it. You want to hold on to that. It's very important. This thing can be quite confusing to use. You want to make sure that you're reading and following the instructions on the side to make the envelope. So if you can see here on the side here, it's got the envelope, all the measurements and everything. Now this one though, because it was so small, the smallest envelope that is listed here to make, or the smallest card size to make is 2 inches by 3.5 inches. That's way too big for what we need. This envelope ends up being 2.25 inches by 1.75 inches. Okay, so we don't need it to be that big. So I had to kind of fussy make one kind of thing. Okay, so this we are going to start at is 3.25. Nope, I'm lying. 3.5 inches square. Okay, so you're going to cut a piece of cardstock. It doesn't have to be too thick. You want to be able to fold it and everything. And you're going to cut it at you want sorry, you want this to be 3.5 inches square. We're going to put this into our punch guideline here, and I'm going to line it up with the 1.5 inch side. So you can see here where it says 2 inches. I want to have my edge at the 1.5 inch side. Okay. Then I'm going to take the envelope score line A, and I'm going to take the score tool that comes with it because it fits into this little line here very well. And I'm going to simply push down right into, there's kind of a little slot here. and then I'm going to punch that. Okay. And what that does is that kind of does this nice little groove. Now, here's the tricky part. So this is how it was sitting here. Now I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to rotate it counterclockwise. And I am not going to line this up with the 1.5 inch mark here. 1.5 inch mark. I'm not going to with the 1.5 inch mark. Okay. What you need to do is you're going to now align your score mark with this alignment here, this score line here. Okay. And then you're going to go back to score line A and run your scoring tool into the little crevice that's there. Punch. Same thing. Rotating clockwise, counterclockwise, sorry. Lining up your score line with the scoring line mark or scoring mark here. Okay. Punching. Last one. So now we're going to line up that score mark again. And run this through this way. Like that. And punch. There we go. This is what it should look like. Okay. And here's all the corners that got punched out. And I'm going to put this to the side. All right. Oop, I want to make sure that this stays with this thing. So this just kind of slides in the bottom here. Tell you, some of these we are keepers, or we are memory keepers. Their tools are pretty hot diggity do. Now, technically, if you haven't broken it, and I broke it by cutting a bunch of so you can see here, this is where the punch is that this pushes down. I broke this doing a bunch of was trying to do corner rounding on acetate and kind of jammed it. So my corner, technically, I could put this in here, and this is a corner rounder part here. This does a kind of a notch so that you can hold together. Like, see how this box top here kind of goes like this? That punch is right there. This is a corner rounder punch to give you this nice edge. But because I got a little carried away with it one day, yeah, it doesn't do it anymore. So I have to bring out my crocodile. So using the crocodile, I'm just going to go around and I'm doing the 1/2 inch. Could do a 1/4 inch if you want, like smaller size, but it really doesn't matter one way or the other. And then all I'm going to do is go in, give them a fold, give them a fold, and give them a fold, like so. Okay, now I tend to like to fold in the bigger part here and then do these guys, because then it overlaps and I can see what I'm doing, right? If you if you prefer a nice clean edge, you can do it this way, but then I can't see where my adhesive is going. And so that makes me a little nervous. So I typically go the other way. I do it this way and then add my adhesive here. Okay, so now I'm just going to adhere, add my little bit of adhesive, like that. And I'm going to fold that one on and fold that one. So these two will go over top of each other. It does give it a nice clean line if you do the larger part on top of the flaps. But like I said, I like to know where it's going because I'm control. I don't know if you can hear that. Now, the last part for the, oh, not the last part, but what I have done here is, because I don't like how this flops open, and then when you put it into the box, like it sits like that. I want this to lay flat and feel like a little packagey kind of thing. So what I've done is I have a couple of strips of Velcro. And I just cut it small and then cut it in half. So that's what I've got here. And it sticks automatically. Well, not automatically. It's got its own adhesive sticky. And I'm going to take this and it stuck so much to my finger here. I'm going to put it at the tip of the envelope, but kind of following the line so that it doesn't pop out or pop over the envelope area here. And then I'm just going to push down with that. Now it lays nice and flat. Then the last part, now because I didn't have, oddly enough, it's very difficult to come up or to find a stamp that says stamp. I am going to handwrite stamps here. You could do postage stamps if you think that they need to be a little bit more clear about that. But I'm going to write stamps just like that. And then what I did, like I said, is I took some paper that was left over from my just remnants of the previous crafting that I had been doing or whatever was left when I was slicing down my mats and things like that, or card fronts and whatnot. And I'm taking a little bit of adhesive and I'm going to put this now onto the front of my little envelope here. Squidging it into place a bit while it's still wet, which is the nice thing about using liquid adhesive is that you can do that while it's still wet. Then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to trim away the excess. Just like that. And then now I'm not going to add stamps into here for now because I don't need to. But now I have this cute little adorable little envelope that will fit inside our cute little gift set here. Okay, this one already has stamps in it, so I'm not putting any in here, but I just cut the backers off of them. Alrighty, so now this guy, so the rest of our tags will go in here. This little stamp set will sit right here, sits in there just lovely. This is going to come in and we're going to put that down just like that. Now, for wrapping, what I wanted to do is because I want this to be easy to pull off and open and take on and off and whatever, click on and off. But, I want them to be able to open it and close it. What I have done here is, at Christmas time, you get that beautiful, well, beautiful, maybe not beautiful, I don't know. But you get this elastic cord. And so I thought what would be really handy is instead of doing a ribbon that you consistently had to tie and untie, because it's not always fun, right? And I wanted to make sure that they could keep it closed if need be. I got this elastic cord that is really nice because it's usually around at Christmas time. I just tie a knot in the end of it, kind of like that. Just tie the two ends together. Just a nice loop here. Now I'm going to take this on one corner, just like this, and then I'm going to stretch it around to the other corner. Now I've got a nice little gold bow, like that, and then I'm taking a candy cane and just hanging that over the edge, like that. Now I can pull this up a little bit more if I want so that my candy cane isn't dangling too much. But there we go. How nice. What a lovely gift. What a lovely, thoughtful gift from a paper crafter. Makes it great, again, if you wanted to do something in in a craft sale, something like that. If you really wanted, you could also do like your bases. You probably have enough paper left over that you could go and cover the sides as well. I'm pretty comfortable with this. I would only cover the sides of the box, not the lid, because it'll catch as you're lifting it off and on. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I hope you love the paper. It's really gorgeous. Really wanted to try something that would showcase it, but also show you a different way of utilizing this digital beautifulness of it. That's going to be the video today. Links for the paper will be in the description below for Mr. Matt's Mixed Media. It's a bit of a mouthful sometimes. Yeah, and you can purchase again and take it to your local print shop. It wasn't very expensive. I think the most expensive one that I found was $1.20. So even then for card, for digital or for designer paper, $1.20 a sheet, not bad at all. I just had to trim down the extra. Was very convenient. And again, I can use this as much as I want. And I've now done, this is box number 6 or 7. And I still have, out of the 10 pages that I got done, nope, I think I got 8 pages done. Look, I still have so much left to continue that I could do. I have enough to do probably 2 more boxes. So that's kind of great out of I think I had 8 pages done actually out of this. So really happy with this. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, put them down below. Please keep your comments kind. I'll be happy to answer any questions that I can. If I remember, I'll try and remember to link the May video, the original one. Yeah, my buy me a coffee link will be in the description as well. If you enjoyed the class and feel like you want to put anything towards that and help support me a little bit there, I'd appreciate that. But if not, again, I hope you enjoyed the class. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll continue our holiday series and gift giving series. Thank you so much and take care, everyone. Bye-bye.